Finding work in the UK can definitely be a challenging experience, particularly because employers are looking for very specific criterias. So they typically want somebody with experience, with skills, and they want you to be able to demonstrate these skills and abilities and experiences when you go to interview. And obviously, they ask you a set of questions such as your motivations, why you want to work for the company, what experience you have of working in that particular role that you apply for. And these are the kind of questions that one would expect at an interview for a company, unless obviously you work for an agency, where if you're lucky you can get a job directly without them asking too many questions about your experience. But me personally, I found it very nerve wracking at the start because when I didn't have a lot of experience, you almost feel like are my answers going to be good enough to make it stand out? To make it like a strong statement and to make my application successful. So this is something that I always was at the back of my mind, and going to interview made me nervous, anxious, and not feeling tremendously confident. But over time, I just learned that ultimately you can only go there with the best intentions, and then it's up to them whether they want to, uh, you know, reward you by offering you a job, or they can get somebody else gets the opportunity. But like I said, it's here in the UK. It's very difficult to find quality jobs, and even the lowest level of jobs now require you to not only have experience, but then you also have to pass references. So they ask you for like references from previous education or employment, preferably, and also you have to pass a DBS check. So the process from applying to having an offer to actually starting a job can sometimes take even months. 6 weeks, over a month to even a couple of months, because then, particularly in big organizations, sometimes the training date can be a couple of months away. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be patient, and ultimately, it always helps if you don't have a lot of expenses during a period where you're perhaps not working. So depriving yourself, maybe socializing or going on holidays if you're struggling financially, to be able to sustain yourself until you don't start earning an average standard of living. But I've been reading articles on newspapers lately that even people with graduates even who have struggled to find work. There was a story on the BBC of a female graduate from Wales who graduated in I think it was September 2023, and it took 18 months, and she had over 600 rejections for jobs before eventually somebody offered her a trainee accountant role that is relevant to the qualification that she got from Swansea University, which tells you that even reasonably well qualified people, young people in particular, can struggle to find work these days because there's less vacancies going around and there's more graduates than ever. So everybody has to find ways to stand out, whether it's through social media, whether it's through showing how much desire and passion you have for a particular field, or every little helps to differentiate yourself and standing out. But obviously, you also need to demonstrate a high level of intellectual skills. So a lot of jobs you have to pass psychometric tests, where they mostly they can ask questions about numbers, about logical thinking, about handling customers. So you have to kind of be prepared for that, and the better you perform in those assessments, the more likelihood is that A, you get the interview, and then subsequently B, are able to impress and get the job that you have applied for. But it's definitely a very challenging period. And ultimately, sometimes even if you do pass an interview and you do get a job, you find out that the job is actually very poor quality, that the tasks are quite repetitive, mundane, and uninspiring, and work actually becomes a drag rather than something that you look forward to, in order to achieve something and also to make a living. So you have to also be aware of that. Make sure that you read the reviews online as well of companies, particularly for specific roles that you apply for, and that you feel confident that you are happy to go ahead with it. But it's worth trying. If things don't work out, at least you can say I've had a go. And you can always get feedback from an experience, whether it's positive or negative, moving forward, and you can, you know, adapt for your future. But let me know what your experience has been to find work. Have you struggled to find work? Have you found work only to realize that the job quality wasn't very good, and it discouraged you, demotivated you to continue? That's something that would really be interesting.